final, the 2024 Asia Pacific Open champion, Peifan. Rookie of the Year and finalist of this year's English Open. Please welcome Yize.
Two young talents preparing to bring the curtain down on another ranking calendar year, and they'll be contesting the youngest ranking final for more than a quarter of a century. Yize, Peifan, 21 years young, going head-to-head for the Scottish Open title and the Stephen Hendry Trophy. What a great occasion for them, for Chinese snooker, and for this packed Meadowbank Arena crowd here in Edinburgh. Colin Humphreys has the honour of officiating this one.
Thank you. Yize to break. Thank you.
Well, if you'd have told Peifan when he was 3-2 down to Aidan Pinney in the first qualifying round at the Ponsford, Sheffield, a couple of months ago now, that he'd be in this position too from the title, he might not have believed you, but that's a reality. 7-4 he leads.
Well, perhaps not the best shot choice there, but Yize, although he has this red on to the left corner, there's no guarantee he'll finish nicely on the colour here. It's an awkward angle. And positional play this evening has been his weakness, I suppose. He's got in several times, but couldn't stay in. Glanced off the pack of reds. Well, he's finished nicely on the blue, it has to be said, to the right corner, but he's looking at the green. Now, for me, a confident Yize would play the blue all day long here.
Worth saying, several times he's come good late on in matches this week. He did yesterday. He was very impressive from 4-2 down to Zhao Guodong.
5.
Whenever you approach a session of this importance, Yize would have been hoping for a 3-1 advantage, 12. Which would have levelled the scores at the interval. But I'm sure Peifan would have been hoping just to share the first 4 frames. That would have been a realistic target. That way his opponent, Yize here, wouldn't be making any inroads into Peifan's lead. So Peifan is guaranteed that 2-all interval scoreline, so he will
20.
Keep his 2-frame advantage, but can he make it 3? Will he get an opportunity in this frame?
21.
Big shot coming up. He's got plenty of angle on the black. Surely he'll take this opportunity to stun into the reds now. Oh, it's gone wrong again. Didn't get enough backspin into the cue ball.
28.
Well, it must be frustrating because he is getting the openings, isn't he? He had plenty in the last frame. I mean, in that final session against Robertson, when he was 7-1 down, he just made a string of breaks. But it's not quite happening yet this evening. Le Peifan, by the way, whatever happens tonight, will be back at Pons Forge in Sheffield on Tuesday night because it's the qualifying for the German Masters. He'll be playing Alan Taylor in the evening session, so it'll be sort of back to reality. But, of course, Chinese players are based in Sheffield, aren't they? And, you know, it's a great academy setup they've got. They play all day long. And these are the fruits of those labours we're seeing here.
This red to the left corner is on, as you can see, just slightly hampered perhaps by the yellow, which could cause a problem. That really was an excellent red. Guided it in, couldn't risk playing it any other way, really. Just finished a little straight on the black, but I'm sure he can do something with this. Oh, it's just this really nicely. Good angle now to screw back for the blue.
8.
To then go into the pack of reds if he wishes.
Thank you. 9.
Again, I'm a little surprised. It was only barely possible to leave himself straight on this
14.
red to run through for the black, but now he's going into the red from a red, which is not normally advisable. That's why he's on nothing. This is a huge shot coming up this blue. Oh, well done. That's a really good pot, but it has to be said, how much pressure is he feeling because of the poor play from his opponent, who isn't putting him under any pressure at all, really, at the moment, it has to be said.
Yeah, and he's got the 3-frame gap now, where it could easily have been just 1 after that last frame, which was in the balance.
21.
Yes, he's nearest and dearest to doing the sort of finger nail biting in the audience that we so often see in these finals. Le Peifan, who was born a few weeks after Mark Williams won his second world title in 2003. Mark grew up
26.
as a product of the UK snooker boom in the 80s, and of course Le Peifan has grown up a product of the Chinese snooker boom off the back of Ding Junhui's success. Oh, he's missed that one. Wow. Just as things were looking good in this frame.
Good pot with the rest. I just wonder, though, if Yize was attempting to bring the black into play there and just missed the cannon on the red. He's very straight on the blue, but can run through for the red just to the left of the pink spot.
Six. Seven.
Just a little far with the cue ball for ideal position on the blue. Wants to play for the two reds next to the pink spot here into the left corner.
12. $13.
So just this one remaining loose red to play for before the work really begins.
$18. 19.
Unlucky.
24.
Had he just caught the red before the cushion, he may have knocked it on for the left corner, but just has to play a safety now, and he'll just need to be content with the lead that he has and try to protect it. It's a useful one at 26 points.
Yize 24.
Jason Ferguson there, the chairman of the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association. Of course, he's travelled so often to China to help get the big ranking events on there that are now a staple of the circuit.
Well, initially he looked at the path that red could have taken, but I think he decided it wouldn't be a plant and just played a safety shot. But it's gone in anyway, and how big an advantage could that be now? If you can get the cue ball in behind the brown.
Peifan 1.
Well, if that cue ball is virtually touching the brown, this snooker may not be easy to escape from.
Foul, a miss. Peifan 4.
Oh, if I were Peifan, I'd be bitterly disappointed at not getting that cue ball in behind the brown, directly behind it. To have left this one cushion escape, well, it must be very disappointing to Peifan. It could have made a big difference.
Yeah, thank you. Foul. Miss.
Oh, he won't be disappointed now. That's exactly what Peifan was wanting to see from his opponent. 7 points given away, 11 in total, and an opportunity. Just 14 points behind. He's nicely on the red to stun up for the blue, with a chance to bring that awkward red into play.
One.
Now, can he stun in between the pink and the red? He has gone a little far, but should just about be able to control this.
Six. Peifan, 6.
Played that very well. It would have been easy to leave a simple escape. He's made it as difficult as he could have done. Oh, wow. Run of the ball can be so crucial at times.
Yes, I mean, for all the science behind snooker, and there's plenty, sometimes it is just balls running around the table and you just hope for the best where they're going to finish. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. Another tense frame. Much bigger though, isn't it? You know, 8-4 or 7-5. Big for Wu Yize these next few minutes.
This is looking good if it keeps running. Oh, there's a little bit of that red poking out from behind the blue. Well, you can see, you can probably cannon the red quarter ball. I don't know if there's enough of the red showing to try and attempt the pot. But Peifan's problem here is the cue ball potentially cannoning into the green or the brown. Good effort to get the cue ball in behind the black, but didn't control the red. He hasn't left the red safe, and it may be possible.
One.
Needs this cue ball to keep running. Oh, that's the worst angle ever. It's dead straight.
5.
How far from the side cushion can he leave this cue ball for the green? Done well.
7.
Looking at the scores, he is going to need that tricky pink. It's an easy pot if he can get onto it, but that black is potentially going to cause a problem.
Peifan, 7.
Well, again, he's been fortunate. The green's run to the cushion. He could easily have left that potable nicely for Wu Yize.
There are various shots you could play here, but I'd prefer to use that pink as a stopper for the green, so I'd be playing the green into the pink here. But he could play the cue ball into the pink, which would slow the cue ball down and send the green back towards Bolt. The problem is, he could easily leave the green on for a pot if he played that shot. I'd rather get the object ball safe. Oh, it's a terrific attempt from Wu Yize. Surely there isn't a path past that black through to the green, is there? Is there? Oh, that's a poor one from Wu Yize, and that could be so costly. OK, he hasn't left a pot on that Peifan would fancy having a go at, but he could really play an excellent safety from here. Well, it's Peifan having a look at the possibility of cutting this green into the right corner. It's a risky one because the green won't be arriving at the pocket with much pace, so if it didn't go in, you'd almost certainly leave the pot on. But not an easy safety shot to play here. Certainly not easy to keep the green and the cue ball safe.
Six minutes now on this green.
He's played that very well. It's a risky shot to play. You just have to hope and pray that the cue ball doesn't just roll off slightly. Oh, is this going to reach? Oh yes, just.
Well, that's a couple of frames. I mean, they're two 21-year-olds, but it's sort of like a bit of a throwback, isn't it, watching great battles amongst the great names of the past. Part of the reason for that is the mistakes earlier in the frame. There's been a lot of chances, but it's got very tense because the interval's coming, which I think Yize would welcome, but he would welcome it a lot more if it's 7-5 as opposed to 8-4.
Just caught the green slightly too thickly. Chance here for Peifan. The problem is the black. He's got to stun past the black, and that may create the wrong angle to get onto the brown nicely. Well, he certainly hasn't got away with that one. This is a big chance now for Yize. 1 point is his advantage, so needs green, brown, blue and pink. No! Goodness me. Well, I think pressure is beginning to manifest itself now in both of these players. They realise the importance of this remaining frame before their mid-session interval. It's a big frame, huge frame. Can Yize just be 2 frames behind again at 7-5? He'll be right back in the match if he can manage it, but 8-4, well, there won't be much pressure on Peifan if he can win this frame to go within a frame of his first ranking event title. That's why the pressure is beginning to take hold, I feel.
Yeah, and also they could each see the other struggling, so when a chance comes, they're thinking, right, I've really got to take this now. And it's not quite happening. This battle on the green is nearly 10 minutes long. Phone going off.
Turn the phone off, please.
Whoever's ringing, I think you might want to tell him you're coming home late. Because this final is becoming a bit of an epic. Certainly if it goes 7-5, it's not going to be an early finish. Now, where's this green? Well, he's got the hamper over the brown.
If you could cue to the middle of the cue ball, you could still take this green on, but if you can't, you've got to be thinking of the safety. was a shot that required a lot of finesse as he got the snooker. Difficult to know from that angle. Ah, that's a better shot of it. Yes, he has got the snooker. It's an easy escape, but can he get it safe? Sometimes you can try and do too much with a shot like this, but a 4-ball cannon on the green would leave it on one of the side cushions. He's got to come off this right side cushion. The cue ball's got far less to travel, thereby he can control the shot much better.
Foul, miss.
Just tried to do
Yes,
too
a
much
foul.
perhaps with that. He was trying to cannon the green on the underside as we look, and that would have taken the cue ball back towards the black. He's playing a half-ball cannon there. I have to say, though, it's still a bad misjudgment.
Yize then needs green, brown and blue.
No, he's just missing too many easy ones now, and he's left this green.
Yeah, and we know, and we've seen it, just what a wonderful potter he is. But the pressure has seriously come on. It's come on both of them. The last frame was 35 minutes. This one already 33. But at long last, Peifan has his chance to lead 8-4.
Seven.
The interval is coming. Can make a difference, but it looks like he's going to have to win the last 5 to win this final.
12.
He was the favourite coming in, Yize. Maybe that in itself has put pressure on. Either way, Peifan needs this pink, and he's one away from becoming
18 in the frame.
Scottish Open champion. A little clenched fist, more out of relief than anything, but he finally steeled himself to pop those 4 balls. Peifan is 1 frame away from getting his hands on the Stephen Hendry Trophy here in the Scottish Open final. 8-4, dramatic start to the night. Of course, he led 4-0 earlier on today. That was pegged back to just 5-4, but he won 2 dramatic frames to lead 8-4. Yize has it all to do. But we know from the English Open, when, of course, he was 7-1 down to Neil Robertson and 8-2 down, if he starts swinging his cue and knocking them in, he's some sight. It hasn't happened yet today, and he's running out of time.
Well,
One.
began the opening frame of this evening's session with a similar long
Brown
pot.
ball.
Begun the final session of the final with another great one. But he can't afford to make any mistakes now, because if he does, it'll all be in the hands of Peifan.
5.
He's got in first in many of the frames, but just couldn't score.
6.
This is looking a little pacey as well. If the red next to the pink spot isn't
11.
on, I can't see a possible red unless he can get through to the one just above the black. This is thin.
Yize, 11.
Now, has he left a red onto the right corner?
overcut it. It's like we haven't had the interval. It's still nervy, but why wouldn't it be, I suppose? Such big moments for both players. Wu Yize given an immediate opening, having broken down first time round.
1.
Well, I suppose Wu Yize needs to win 3 frames
7.
in succession, really, just to put some pressure on Peifan. If he doesn't do that,
8.
then for the time being, Peifan's under no pressure at all. It's all about setting little targets. It's pointless. Wu Yize thinking, I've got to win 5 frames in a row. Of course, that's what has to happen. But you just got to set little targets and just think to yourself, well, what have I got to do to put my opponent under pressure, to force him into mistakes? And obviously, Peifan will be under a lot of pressure because he's never won a ranking event. Be a massive, massive thing to him. Of course, Wu Yize here was in the final of the English Open, but was up against Neil Robertson in good form. Didn't manage to get the job done there, and he's got an awfully big task ahead of him here. Again, he's lost position. Just can't get that cue ball on a piece of string.
Yeah, this is the problem. From here on in, really, he needs everything to go right, and it's already gone wrong here, as it did the first time he was in.
Wu Yize, 20.
Yeah, I mean, it was a smile that masked a lot of other emotions, I think. Frustration.
And again, Dave, you know what he's done? He's got in and he's got the reds open but lost position. So although he's established a 31 points lead, he's opened up the balls for his opponent as well as himself.
Yeah, exactly, and he knows, of course, that Peifan may only need one more chance now to win this final. So the stakes are high for Wu Yize.
The red he played has just cannoned into another one and potentially left it potable to the right centre. Is it worth the risk? The cue ball's running up towards the bulk colours. One good pot and he'll be right in. I'd certainly be tempted by this. Beautifully played. Peifan's girlfriend must be feeling very tense. But that was a decent cannon from cue ball to green. It's left him nicely on the brown. Just wants one good positional shot here and he'd be right in.
Peifan, who was relegated from the tour in 2022 and last year went to Australia to play in the Asia Pacific Championship because that was a qualifying event for the tour. So went all the way to Australia, won that. That's how he got back on. Had to start, of course, with 0 points. Round 1 of every tournament. Not got much angle here. Nothing's coming easy, is it? And I suppose after the evening it's been, that's not a surprise.
Yeah, he's been unfortunate there. Dead straight on the red. He could have screwed back for the black. But he still has his secondary option of a red to the left centre.
Six.
nicely on the blue. Disappointed to miss this. This is the type of shot you never expect to fail with.
I'm sure he was a completely new name to a lot of people who came here this week, but it's a name they'll remember for sure. Is he going to be coming back in 12 months' time as defending champion? He's got some sort of chance here to build up a lead or get back into this frame. He's trailing by 20.
12.
Would love the black on its spot, clearly. And now he's, again, finished in sort of no man's land. He's shaking his head.
I'm sure it's disappointing for both players that the highest break in this match has been made by Peifan, just 71 and 69 from Yize. They're capable of so much more and have produced so much more in earlier matches.
Peifan, 12.
Yeah, positional play has been the thing, hasn't it? That they just haven't been keeping control of the cue ball, and again, they're lost position, so back to the safety. 19 in it. But as we've been saying, the real pressure's on this man because he knows at any point his next shot could be his last shot.
Just a little unlucky really there. Sometimes you can expect the cue ball to skid a little off the cushion rails, but it's not really doing that. The ball's rebounding rather squarely, I feel.
Problem is, you know, there's been a few errors and colours have been knocked into safe positions, so, you know, it's not straightforward. And this is a bit of a stretch. Referee keeping an eye on that blue. Yeah, I mean, he was stretching. Just while we watch this, we're watching two stars of the future, clearly, but as the year draws to an end, we should also remember some of the people we've lost in 2024. Dean O'Kane was New Zealand's greatest ever player. Mark Wildman played a series of roles as a player, a commentator, an administrator. For many, Clive Everton will always be the voice of snooker. And Ray Reardon and Terry Griffiths were both legends of the sport, world champions, household names. They've left us this year, but they've also left us a great legacy. This tour is thriving. More and more countries all the time are getting into snooker as we head into 2025.
Thank you.
Yes, very well said, Dave. I can only echo your sentiments there. I've known all of those people you've mentioned very well throughout my career. I used to practice with Terry Griffiths as a youth. He knew him very, very well. It's been a terrible year, really, for the number of losses that we've suffered within our sport. This frame is looking very similar in its structure to all the frames pretty much that we've seen so far this evening. Not entirely convinced that red's travelled far enough. I think it's cuttable. Needs his cue ball to slow down. He's travelling. Goodness me, this cloth is so fast. Well, he may well be nicely on the yellow.
The thing is, I mean, he's 8-4 down. He hasn't been completely outplayed in as much as his opponent has struggled as well. Certainly this evening, those couple of frames, it could have gone either way, the last two. It's not like he's been sort of blasted off the table. The truth is he's underperformed, but there's still time to at least put pressure on. If he can get a couple of frames on the board, Peifan may start to feel it.
$11. Green ball.
That was an excellent green. Did his level best to cannon into those three reds, did a really good job of it. He's been a little unfortunate on the whole. Still has a choice of reds. One into the yellow pocket, one into the left centre, but neither of them easy.
Yize, 14. One.
Wow, that was special. Well, if that's the start of his winning break, he'll remember this shot a long time. There's work to do yet, but what a pot.
Yeah, does he have enough angle on the green? I think he does, to play a delicate cannon into the two reds below the pink. Oh, that will do nicely.
Yeah, so it's starting to look like it's about the red on the right-hand side cushion.
Five.
That red, though, is tight against the cushion, so you couldn't play it with much pace. It would come off the cushion. If you ever try and screw back or stun off a red that's tight against the cushion, it always leaves the cushion. No matter how you play it, you can only really roll them in, so that's going to be a problem. Now, can he leave an angle on the pink to bring that red into play? I'll be amazed if he tries to just stun him behind it. A few congratulatory texts, maybe, I don't know.
Bit early yet, because there's a big shot coming up. He's looking at the red. Could now be key to whether he can get it won here or not.
12.
Well, he has an angle to stun across the table for that remaining red. Now, you don't necessarily have to try to continue the break. You can just drop the red in and snooker your opponent behind the black. You don't always have to make a frame and match-winning break. That's what he's chosen to do. And I think that was very judicious.
18.
Put the red by the blue, get him behind the black. Goodness me, that could be a killer. Could have done a lot more with that. He must be disappointed with that.
Peifan.
If it's a
18.
snooker, it's a simple escape. It could have been so much more difficult. Green and blue are a good target to try and get that cube in behind. You could send the red up the table towards the black spot.
Thank you. One.
That's another great red from Yize, but it's not on a colour, so it's time to have a look at the scoreboard, I think, and consider putting a high-value colour safe.
Well, you can understand him thinking about this. The match has been going nearly 5 hours. And he's trying to keep it going a little while
Green
longer.
ball. Yize. 1.
It may be a snooker, but I can't believe he hasn't put a high-value colour safe there. If I was Peifan, I'd be delighted that if I got a chance, I could still clear up.
Foul. A miss.
Well,
Yize 7.
points means there's 23 in it. Yellow and Peifan can only tie, but it's a big shot to take on. Looks like he's lining up for it though.
Yeah, great yellow. And a nice little flick off the blue has left him with a simple green, or what should be a simple green.
Well, Peifan, when we got down to the last red, it really was in control, but you have to say let it slip, this frame. And it looks like we're going into another one. And you just never know with these finals. Remember 2017 in Glasgow, another Chinese player, Chow Yupeng, led Neil Robertson 8-4, was beaten 9-8. Could have done with that in. 28 in it.
Wu
2
Yize,
snookers needed.
5.
I have to say, though, that Peifan failing to escape from the previous snooker, it was a simple snooker to escape from, but missed it, and it looks like it may cost him the frame now. Oh, very good effort, but not quite. Well, if Peifan decided to pop brown and blue, he could tie with 1 snooker. Yeah, I think Peifan decided to pop brown and blue, because the problem is he would be trying to get a snooker in behind the pink, if anything, and it's miles away from a cushion rail, so it's in open play if you don't get the snooker in behind the pink. So you may as well pop brown and blue, try and get in behind the black, because by potting brown and blue, you give yourself the opportunity to place that cue ball just where you want to place it in order to get the snooker in behind the black. Oh, he's played a great shot here. He's got a wonderful chance now to get in behind the black. The only problem I can see is with the angle that he has on this pink, the pink could go fairly close to the green pocket. Depends how he plays it. Oh, he's got there. Do you know he's played that with a lot of right-hand side to deflect the cue ball in behind the black, because I don't think that angle was on as a natural.
Well, if Wu Yize doesn't hit the pink, then it'll be 13 in it with 13 on, and it could end up a respot. Yeah, it's a good hit.
Yeah, normally you get one chance to get the snooker, and he got the snooker, unfortunately. Yize escaped from it. So now, because of the position of the black, I'll be playing the pink into the black now to try and knock it into a more favourable position, because he has a perfect angle here to play the pink into the black.
Foul.
Well, what a thing to happen. So he concedes the frame and the final continues. Another half-hour frame. It's gone to Yize, who now trails here. So Yize has extended the final, winning that last frame on the colours. 8-5 to Peifan. Watching that red with a bit of concern. It's covered.
Goes up very quickly. I'm not sure he felt he'd given it enough impetus, but it's just got there.
Touching ball.
As you can see, 5 hours playing time. Yize would like another hour or so yet.
Just lost control of that shot slightly. This red would cut to the centre pocket, but is it too risky? Surely it's too risky.
One.
Well, it was a poor safety from Yize, but an unfortunate cannon from Peifan has left him out of position. Doesn't take much for a match to turn around like this. I think if Yize could win this frame and reduce the deficit to 2 frames once more, Peifan may just start to feel the pressure increasing.
Peifan. 1.
Peifan began playing actually when he was 9 years of age. At 12 he moved to Beijing to get proper training at an academy in China. He won the World Under-18 Championship when he was 14, and then at 16 turned pro, and he's been off the tour twice since then, but as I mentioned earlier, got back on winning the Asia Pacific Championship. So it's been quite a journey already in his short life. He's had to cope with, you know, the different emotions associated with both winning and losing, but he's never quite experienced anything like this before.
once again, another poor safety from Yize. And if you lay Peifan, you can't be turning pots like this down. It's tricky, of course, but I don't know of any player that wouldn't be going for this.
From the first qualifying round to land the Stephen Hendry Trophy.
Lei Peifan!
The last ranking title of 2024, the most surprising winner, but equally as deserving as all the others.
Once again, the champion, Lei Peifan!
Because he's done it the hard way. All those close matches, the recovery against Mark Allen, and he had to hold his nerve tonight, and he did.